Welcome to the Eagles World channel. Thank you so much, Ali Rahmat Musofir, for your kind facilitation. You have brought me to this touristic site, very beautiful, as people could be seen around. And this is a place recently very much, it has become so much famous. And the place which is here, this is called the Dut area, or Dut means suspension bridge in Wakhi. Dut is for suspension bridge. So you could see that the tourists, they have come from down country, from Punjab, from Lahore and other cities of Pakistan, and they're enjoying their time, and particularly the season, as it is so pleasant here these days. And we ourselves, we were so much stunned. For example, just maybe half a kilometer away on the KKH, it was too hot. But when we came here, it is so pleasant, that so much enjoyable. So this suspension bridge which is here, it is located here in a village called, and these days is Hussaini. Particularly its actual and indigenous name is Sisuni. And this is almost 145 or 50 kilometers away from Gilgit city, and only maximum 6 kilometers, otherwise 5 kilometers from Gulmit, which is the headquarters of Upper Hunza and a subdivision of Hunza district in the northern Pakistan. So I had visited this area long time ago. You could see in my hand there is a white can, and this signifies that, well, now I can't see anything. I have become visually disabled. But I'm basically from Gulmit. My hometown is Gulmit, as I told you, not more than 5 kilometers away from this site. However, I used to go to these areas crossing the suspension bridge. So it is very much interesting to see that it is said, as the locals do inform, and particularly the key informants, that, well, there wasn't such kind of suspension bridge earlier. And when Field Marshal President Ayub Khan had visited Hunza, who was then the president of Pakistan as well. So he has visited this area. There wasn't any jeep road even, but by 1962 it had reached up to Gulmit. So just you could see that, well, you can see around, and through this through the camera you may see a lot of things around. There wasn't just in such a rugged mountain, how could a jeep road be constructed? But thanks to the time and then the strategic location of Hunza Valley, which also sometimes brings not blessings but rather a lot of challenges. However, because of the strategic nature of Hunza Valley within Gilgit-Baltistan, as it is the only corridor which links Gilgit-Baltistan and Pakistan to China. So it was that time when President Ayub had come, and our local community has requested them that, well, if there could be some kind of support for a kind of suspension bridge here. So it was that time in 1968, after 5 or 6 years later, then the first suspension bridge was constructed here. And in 1974, the Hunza state was eliminated, and it was merged with Pakistan, though Gilgit-Baltistan per se is not legally a part of Pakistan. It is administratively within Pakistan. Like Kashmir, it is disputed in its nature. So just you will see that when there wasn't the KKH, it was started actually in 1966, and particularly after the Chinese arrival here in 1967, it was constructed, and by 1978 it was formally opened, and you could observe that, note that, well, how the developments could be seen in the context of Hunza. So then In 1982, when the Aga Khan Rural Support Program formally intervened in Gilgit-Baltistan region, and it was back in 1986 when they supported the local community here in constructing a small footable bridge, not the suspension or the hanging bridge. Suspension bridge means after 1 or 2 feet, one has to jump a bit and then cross, the bridge. But it was interesting that while they had made, this small, narrow bridge, and it continued maybe for a decade or so, and because of the harsh climatic condition, the harsh
strong wind
and strong wind, that was broken down, and in the Hunza River. You could see here there is the Hunza River, and in the background you could see there is a beautiful mountain that is called in Wakhi, in one of the primary languages, is Tpuz. Tpopdan. So that is called as Tpopdan. So where sun remains for longer time and associated with that. But now these days, that has been named as Pasu Cathedral. So that is in the background, and here up there is the Sisuni village, which is also famous for a Sufi saint's shrine above. And this village, it's comprised on 110 or 20 households, and the descendants mostly they are the migrants from Wakhan, almost 15 or 16 generations back. Their apical ancestor has come from a village of Wakhan. Perhaps it is Ptuch or something else, but that is researchable furthermore, because I have been to Wakhan Valley of Afghanistan, and that's a beautiful valley again, and went to those areas as well. So this was a bit about this suspension bridge, and now afterwards the suspension bridge back in 2010. It was 4th of January 2010 when the Atabad landslide, it devastated not only the tiny village, but also converted the Hunza River into a huge lake. So that extended for 25 to 30 kilometers above, and then that had come, even to this area, and then the suspension bridge was submerged in that, and after it continued for 5.5 years or more than that, and then in 2014 the local community or the native community then constructed this suspension bridge. Why this is important for the village community, it is important to be kept in mind. It is not for the touristic purpose, for the tourist attraction. It has come recently as an attraction for the tourists. It is used for the local community because across the river, across the Hunza River, there is a place called Zarabo, the settlement of Hussaini, where the people they go and then they have their agro-pastoral practices there. So that's why they have their dependence on that place called Zarabo. So that's why they use this suspension bridge or the hanging bridge for that purpose. I think that you could see these were some of the backgrounds which I wanted to tell you. And besides, you could see around, there are many tourists. You could see them through this camera, through the eyes of the camera. And they have come for the purpose of enjoying the nature here. So I hope that those who could see, who will see this video, and they will be attracted further to come and to enjoy the nature. And there are such areas, many other areas in the area, and this is one of the most attracted touristic sites in Hunza Valley. So I hope this will be beneficial, this much the information for all of you, and hope to see you next in the wherever I could go, and to see the things not through this eyesight, but also through my observations. And thank you. If you liked this video, don't forget to subscribe it, please.